Hello, everybody. Welcome to Planet FPL, the world where everything revolves around Fantasy Premier League. My name's Serge.
My name is James.
And my name is Clayton.
It is the day the world revolves around Fantasy Premier League, particularly for you, James, with 1 million streams and shows and everything to get out because at 8 o'clock today, the first ball will be kicked at 6:30. No more tinkering.
Well, it'll probably be no more tinkering from about 4 o'clock when the website goes down for the rest of the day, isn't it?
It's going to go down pretty early today, we planning on. But yes, it finally is here. It is the final draft show. And the final, I think, obviously, clearly in brackets, because there could be news today that changes it. As much as we are putting in our final drafts in this show, there's none of that padlock shit, James. No locked in, because things may change. I heard Slippers Andy say it, that the closer you get to the deadline, the more rational thought leaves everybody, and you start doing stupid things where you're like, the fear kicks in, or all of this kind of stuff, and you start mucking around, and madness does kick in a little bit. It's that final knee-jerking or bandwagons that pop up that you're like, actually, yeah, maybe I do need and die, or whatever it might be today. But yeah, we're as final can be for 8:30 on a Friday morning.
Right, we're going to do rock, paper, scissors, see who goes first. Each one of us is going to go through our drafts as it stand. Again, as Suj said, it's very much subject to the team news. We are fully entitled to change our mind. We want rock, paper, scissors, and then go, lads.
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors, go.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors. Excites me.
Scissors. Yep, there we go.
All right, so you two ain't getting a word in, You might as well just disappear now. Okay. This is me. I had a proper tinker around on Tuesday before I went to Italy and did.
Did you go to Italy? What happened in Italy?
Listen,
was there a game this week?
Clates, I want to say well done on Ham and Arse on Patreon yesterday for standing up for how decent my team's performance was. I had a great time. Thank you very much. Disappointed, obviously, but
I didn't watch the game, so I can't stand up for the performance. But I did say, if you'd have told me the result at the end, 2-2, they win on penalties, you could have thought Spurs had done all right.
I would have snatched your hands off for penalties before the game.
You can't. It's just the manner of the thing. That's all it is. But the actual outcome was only what you expected. But yes. Oh, you did go to Italy. Anyway,
so I'm feeling so positive now. I've gone quadruple Tottenham like I did last year. No, not really. I did a piece, midweek dilemma for our patrons, on which I recorded on Tuesday before I went out on Wednesday. There's only one change from that team. I had a lot of looking around, particularly at defensive combinations again last night, and I've moved out James Tarkowski for Murillo, following on from the news of Jared Branthwaite's hamstring injury. Deciders on that also comes down to Forest having a better opening 6 over Everton, in my opinion, particularly as I am highly likely to be free hit in game week 2. So strategy for me is bench boost now. Free hit to wildcard 13, triple captain whenever I feel comfortable to pull it. But I think it will most likely be 14 or 15. But if I would feel really confident in something earlier on, I won't hesitate to pull it. So for Bruggen in goal, Porro, Van Dijk and Murillo. Bruno Fernandes, Florian Wirtz, vice captain Cole Palmer. I fully intend to captain Cody Gakpo tonight as it stands. Front three, as I said on Monday's pod with usage, Bowen, Watkins, João Pedro. Couldn't see that changing. I'm pretty certain that yours isn't going to have changed either. The bench boost, Lucas Perry, Keenan Dewsbury Hall, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Ezri Konsa. In terms of some of the decisions, it got to the point where Perry was kind of my first choice of goalkeeper. I've put him on the bench rather than Verbruggen. I actually fancy Brighton for a clean sheet this weekend. In terms of Dewsbury Hall, really comfortable with that as an 8th attacking player longer term. Very confident he starts Monday night. I mean, all the Evertonians think he will. Put in a really good performance against Roma last week. I don't see me using that much. So I don't really want to be paying 5.5 for something I'm not going to start much. In terms of Wan-Bissaka and Konsa, Wan-Bissaka I've gone for over Diouf or alternatives, of which Joachim Andersen became a real big consideration for me last night, which I think would be more reliable from a DEFCON perspective. But I want the security of the minutes for when I need it, and I know exactly what I get from Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I've not had the opportunity to watch the youth, so if anybody has and prefers that and wants the upside of that, I have no problem with that. I also, as we said weeks ago, Serge, I think Max Kilman is going to be perfectly reasonable as a 4.5 option in this. And Konsa is a shitty, boring pick, but their fixtures are great at the start, and when I need him, or if I need him, he's got the best fixtures. I've tried so many different alternatives with 4.5s that I think will be okay for DEFCONs, and it just doesn't land that I want them in the same way at the same time as when I want Esri Konsa, particularly over the first 7. So, yeah, pretty settled on this. Don't particularly think it will change. I guess the headline here is the bench boost. If I have any concerns today, I'm happy to drop that. One of the things with Murillo now in for me rather than James Tarkowski is I could land with a ridiculous bench boost team in game week 11 just by virtue of the transfers I have planned. I looked at it last night and went, that is better than what this is with what I intend to target. That by that point is likely to have treble Chelsea, treble Arsenal, some Palace coverage, possibly some Brighton coverage as well. Concerns are, though, there's European fixtures beforehand. And I'm a little bit concerned that I'm going to have a number of players there that will play 3 days before. So to look at that as a bench boost now, no. I think 11 might look better for me than 1, but it's so far away. Who knows? I don't really want to get in a position where I'm wildcarding in 13, which is my target, and still thinking about the bench boost. I looked at lots of drafts with obviously Salah in. Sacrifice for me would have been Cole Palmer. And then just cheap out the bench essentially. Probably would have, I maybe would have dropped Verts or Gakpo off as well. Well, I would have dropped one of them off. It probably would have been Palmer and Verts I would have dropped off. The problem with it is that I found I was having to make too many transfers around the period of wanting to target Chelsea and Arsenal players around sort of 7 and 9 and to accommodate it. And it meant I was going to cost other things. So if I wanted to go back and attack Crystal Palace, for example, I pretty much had to scrap it because of the extra transfers I was probably going to have to use on path. I think that probably the best strategy for most will be to start with Mo, move him to Erling Haaland in 6, and then get the Haaland money towards others like Saka around about game week 7. But I think if Haaland goes in, it's probably a movement around about game week 9 instead. It's right from the captaincy perspective, but I felt I was giving up too much, and it was also costing me too many transfers to plan around. The intention with this will be, as I said, free hit game week 2. My first planned transfer will be around about game week 6. I clearly won't make it to that because let's be honest, these best laid plans don't ever happen.
No.
But that's the intention, is to make a load of transfers between 6 and 10 and then try and roll it up to the wild card again in case I need to go down the route of Salah, Haaland, hokey cokies from that wild card in 13.
Cool. James, I mean, look, we obviously know from Monday's pod how similar our teams are anyway. There's, I've basically got more money in defence and you've got more money in Cody Gakpo. Apart from that, it's pretty there or thereabouts. I've got Diouf instead of Wan-Bissaka. And then when I plugged my team into FPL team and started plotting forward, I don't ever play him, truth be told. I just never play him. So I'm kind of like, I want him in my team for his attacking threat and what a good asset he's going to be. But it's kind of neither here nor there, really, because he never gets into my first 11. Porro does in game week 3 when you got Bournemouth at home. And I'll actually be benching Gabriel, who's away at Anfield that week. Like, I'd rather play Porro at home than Gabriel away at Anfield. But overall, I looked at my bench, which is kind of Elliot Anderson, Wan-Bissaka, Dewsbury Hall, so not too dissimilar. They don't often get into the first 11 because I've got so many of the big boys in the first 11, which you can do when you don't have Salah. So I'm assuming, or Haaland. So I'm assuming it's the same for you in the sense that those bench players, they don't often break into that first 11, really, do they?
Like, yeah. I'm ending up with the likes of Wan-Bissaka and Konsa in my team when they play Burnley at home for the two of them as like examples. And at that point, it's removed the DEFCONs from my mind, really. That's not what I'm targeting with the Burnley own fixture because I know DEFCONs probably aren't going to be there in a fixture like that. So it's back to almost like old school, like, right, I'm looking at a rotation here. I do think if you're looking longer term in terms of rotations, the DEFCON at the moment is quite difficult. And obviously in an individual game, things can happen. Red card changes, team has more of the ball than you expect. I would still, from a rotation perspective, want to be looking at players at this moment that I believe would be right for particular fixtures. Others will do that the other way. They'll go, right, I've got 3 or 4 defenders. They're always playing. So I want my first choice backup to be a consistent DEFCON player. Like I said, I considered Anderson a lot. I think one for you to consider that I played around with a lot last night, so it was Joe Rodon at Leeds, particularly if you're bench boosting one. Their fixtures are brilliant. If you're going to free hit in game week 2 as well, I actually got them top of the ticker for the period I want, 1 till 12. So for him to sit there as a 4.0 defender, the problem for me is I end up then looking at weeks and going, oh, I can stick him in this week. And I've got double Leeds defence. And I'm thinking, I'm not sure on that. Because I think I'll be playing Perry more than Verbruggen, I think, you know.
Yeah, I do have a goalkeeper question mark when we get to my team, but overall, kind of good to go. Really, I don't think there's too many question marks. I do think that Murillo over Tarkowski shout is the right thing to do as well. If even all things being equal and Jared Branthwaite was fit, I think I'd still be picking Murillo. The only reason I haven't got a new Forest defender is because I've got Sells, and I don't want to start the season doubled up on any one defence. So that's why I haven't gone. But, you know, Porro after game week 3 and the Bournemouth at home game, I don't feel like I'll particularly need him. And depending on what form you guys are in and what form Forest are in, that Porro to Murillo move is very easy. And actually it may be Porro to Munoz, which might be more interesting. So, yeah.
All right. Clayton, any questions on mine?
No, I like it. I've obviously seen it and listened to the content. So, yeah, no questions. Think you're good to go. Looks good.
I'm sure that team news will scupper a few things. I know what plans are if I get bad news on certain things today. I also feel like there's no money in the bank in this, by the way. Sorry, I should have said. I feel like I've got so many outs, though. Like if Gakpo suddenly becomes a problem looking into game week 3, Morgan Rogers. I feel like I've got outs everywhere. So I'm not that concerned that I don't have money in the bank. So like my first planned transfer might be, say, Wirtz to Marmoush in game week 6, or obviously at the same price. Now, obviously, I might not be able to do that, but I feel like I can then do something like that as well. Right, okay, Gakpo to Rogers. There's so many others that I can drop to from where I'm at. I'm not at the bottom price anywhere. I'd say even like Josh King became a regular at Fulham. All right, we'll go Dewsbury Hall to King to open up that money if necessary. I think ideally most people should probably try and leave 0.5 in the bank. I think the way I've set up, I don't need to. Go on then, you two.
Cool. Ready?
We're going rock, paper, scissors?
We're at rock, paper, scissors, go, yeah?
Yep.
Rock, paper, scissors, go.
Ah.
Oh, yeah.
No,
if
you
I'm
two
not
look
winning
like a
anything
right
else,
pair
at
of
least I'm winning the
wankers.
rock, paper, scissors.
Did I look
listen.
that bad when I was doing it as well?
Yeah.
Do you know what
Just
I realised
remember,
once?
you came third,
I was on rock. You lot said rock, and I realised, how am I going to make paper look good here?
Yeah, it probably, depending on how you hold it out, could look quite Elon Musk and inappropriate. So yeah, no, glad you stuck with rock. Clayton, I look at your draft, mate.
Go on.
You must have money in the bank somewhere because
I don't. I have got nothing in the bank, and unlike James, I'm not wedded to any strategy. So I am going in very open-minded this season. I think I've got an idea of maybe pulling the wild card quite early, but I think a lot of the conversations and talk I hear at the minute is like, I'm going to bench boost in this game week. I'm going to do this in this game week. And I just think every single season, the FDRs will change early on when we get new information, both like on the eye and data-wise, although I think data-wise, it takes a few weeks for that to kick in to use relevant trends. But I just think every single season, there's fires that we don't expect. There's transfers that we're forced to make that we don't plan for. And I always prefer to start the season with like, okay, I try and plan for like the first 2 to 3 weeks, 80% of my team, and have a couple of players in there that I think, like what Late Riser calls a glue picks. So like Saka, is he optimal for the first 3? Probably not. But I think he's someone that will just contribute regularly. I think he'll go up a level in terms of his output. So if I go back to front, the keepers, to be honest, that was the last position I sorted, and I just needed a 4.5 keeper. I had a space for 4.5, 4 million. I was like, let me just get the Brentford pair, Kellison and Valdemarson. I think I've seen Kelleher might be okay and is back on the grass, so I need to change that around in terms of aesthetics. But in defence, I went Cucurella, Gabriel to start. Cucurella, I think, kind of speaks for himself. How he performs, and I think what can be expected from him. I think they've got really nice fixtures. Gabriel, again, I think if there's is it the ideal first few fixtures in terms of clean sheets? No, but if there's any team that can get one in those tough fixtures, I think it's Arsenal, and his set piece threat speaks for itself. The Ballard's in there just because I needed a 4.5 million defender. I didn't love any of the option, and I'm not just saying I love him, but I look at Sunderland's opening fixtures, and I'll be honest, that was just me trying to do something a bit different. But I do quite like their opening fixtures, so I've got him in there. In midfield, same as James and you, no Salah. So my midfield, therefore, I said about Saka already. I've got captain Cole Palmer. I've got vice captain Wirtz. I've got Marmoush actually. I've got concerns about City defensively, like we spoke about the other day, but I've got no concerns about them going forward. I think they'll do quite well. Slight concern on his minutes, so I think that's one that I'll maybe keep an eye on. But I quite like it. Just Wolves to start. I think he'll start, and I think he'll therefore do well. So I quite like that one to start. And then front three, same two in Bowen and Watkins. The only one I've gone different to your João Pedro, I think it was. I've gone Chris Wood, and I know they're free scoring in pre-season, aren't they? So that fills me with a lot
of goals, mate.
Loads
of goals,
all the goals. But again, I just look at that first three, and I just think, if there's someone that's gonna maybe get a consistent 9-pointer in there, one goal, it might be Sir Chris Wood. So that's the approach I've gone for. On the bench, said about the double Brentford keepers. Josh King, obviously, he's been spoken about quite highly in our community. And then I just needed a 4 million fodder in Esteve, so I went for him. And then Dorgu, 4.5 million. I was looking, obviously, I'll try play him possibly at Fulham, definitely against Burnley, and just looking to rotate him in and around. So that's the 15 I've landed on. Strategy-wise, when it comes to like triple captain, I think the one thing I'll say on bench boost, there is definitely 3-4 times in a season where I accidentally look at my squad and think, do you know what, I could probably play my bench boosts. I'm kind of relying on that happening before the halfway point, and if it doesn't, me not being more than 1 or 2 moves away from needing to make it happen. And also, if I do look to wildcard early on, which I usually do, I'm hoping by then I'll have enough information to trust myself to make a decision on, okay, I'll probably go in this week based on what I've seen of the team so far and plan that wildcard accordingly. What other chips have I forgotten? Yeah, no, that's me. Captaincy, obviously, little bit of a concern with no Salah, no Haaland, but yeah, looking at Palmer this week, obviously, I'll probably go Saka next week, and then probably back to Palmer the week after, and then again take it from there. I think I'm someone that I always think the first 2-3 weeks I get so much more information than I predicted I would have got, and I'm pretty good at reacting to it. So that's me trying to stick to my tried and tested.
I hear what you're saying about the early wildcard. I mean, this is on my mind as well. There's so many question marks around certain players and budget that I've put in structure, team structure, that I think I'll almost be using my wildcard to tear up my team structure as much as I am to change certain players. Yeah.
Go on, James, rip it apart. Because I sent it to you on WhatsApp and I didn't get a reply. So I was like, I know he thinks it's shit.
It was like on my way back from Italy and he sent me his team and I just was like, okay, I didn't say anything. So I think he was a bit concerned. And I just sent you a laughing emoji. I mean, I have to say, I take it you're obviously happy with the Brentford combination of keepers.
I wouldn't say happy. I think I don't really care so much about the keepers, to be honest. And I was like, okay, if I can
do score points, you know, they are part of your team.
I know they do. It's not really a priority area for me, but I do. Their opening fixtures are okay. They're a team I do have concerns over, to be fair. But again, it's a 4.5 and a 4 million keeper, and I think they'll tick over fine. I wouldn't say I'm over the moon with it, but it's fine.
I think, unless you think you'll kind of bench boot, when do you think you'll wild card? Quite early.
Possibly 4 or 5, to be honest.
Okay, fine. He's not such a big a deal then, but I just think if you ended up going longer, you're never going to sit there and think, oh, yeah, I want a bench boost now if you've got 2 goalkeepers from the same team. If you're starting that way, it's fine. I get it, particularly with the Kelleher doubts across the first few. Their first 5 are okay. I have a bit of concerns that their first 2 home games are Villa Chelsea. So if they don't get clean sheets on the road, you're concerned that maybe they don't get anything. So is there a better combo than that across the first few weeks or so? might not be for 9.5, to be honest. I'd say for 9.5, probably, not 9.5, 8.5,
yeah.
there probably wouldn't be. This Dan
Just pick
Ballard
keepers
pick,
from
though,
different teams. It's not. Just pick
I mean,
keepers
you
from
could just
different
go to
teams.
Bravka and Kelleher, but there
Yeah.
is a small chance that Clates goes that route and he's got no goalkeeper
And I've
this
got neither,
weekend.
right? Yeah.
There is a
True.
small chance of that.
That's
Kelleher,
what I had initially, but that's the reason I changed
Kelleher,
it.
we think trained yesterday, and I know Andrew said, "Oh, we'll have to see if they're all right for the weekend." He's only missed one friendly game. Kelleher, he's a goalkeeper. I'm sure he's probably going to play
He was
from
right.
here. The Bravka, the closer it gets, the more the Burnley community seems to think the Bravka might get thrown straight in, but none of us actually know what that's going to be. The Ballard pick, Clates, is really interesting.
It's a bit rogue, isn't it?
Well, really interesting. A, because he's 4.5 and there's obviously 4.0 options knocking about from the free promoted teams. But when you was talking, I was just trying to figure out when you were going to use him. And I was figuring, it's only this week.
Yeah.
I can't see where else you'd pick him.
So then why not get a West Ham like Wan-Bissaka or Diouf, who are the same price that you might feel more comfortable using, even like Van de Ven, Burnley at home.
Well, my
More
question,
reliable, because you might use him in game week 3.
hold on, don't talk him out of it. More my question to Clates was going to be, do you think West Ham are that shit that the best 4.5 defender available this weekend is from Sunderland?
No, like I said, that was definitely me being a bit different. I think I've seen everyone's got like the same 4.5, and I was like, again, it's an area. I'm like, I'll see what happens with it. I've been impressed with Sunderland's business, and yeah, I won't use him much. But again, I think Sid just said this in the past, right? Like you want someone to be able to come in that is kind of reliable, and I think he has the option to potentially be that for me.
There's definitely more reliable than Sunderland 4.5.
Yeah, there are. I want to be a little bit different on it. I quite like trying to remember my Calafiori thing last year. I tried looking for something a bit different. So yeah, that's why I like it. And to be fair, I'm in a few of the analytics groups chats and stuff, and they're quite high on him. To be fair, as an option, the analytics.
And then you've got like
I don't know why,
Anderson as a really reliable, and everyone's raving about his DEFCON potential as well.
Yeah, but I don't love Brighton away. I'd rather.
The truth is, right, it's very. This is a play at your weight pick, so there's no point in us even trying to like logically find a better solution for DEFCONs or whatever. If that's the way you want to go, play it your way.
I just
he's ex-Arsenal as well, isn't he?
Oh, here we go. I mean, look, if you are looking for just the 1 week, like there are alternatives out there. Wan-Bissaka and Diouf from the same fixture.
It probably would.
I think Mickey van der Ven probably will play.
Yeah.
And Tottenham are going to be more of a threat from set plays. I think you have seen that. So the potential there for a haul. I'm sure, listen, he scored the other night. He's probably not going to score again. De Kuyper at Brighton, Anderson at Fulham. Michael Keane probably plays for Everton now at Leeds.
Yeah, don't go there.
But if he only needs it for 1 week.
True,
And
but I'd
also
rather need it for
is,
1 week and then at least have some use for it.
Clates isn't bench boosting, right? So like nearly nobody else would. I wouldn't recommend Michael Keane. But if you think you're going to wildcard early and you think you're probably only going to use it this week, then he either plays or he doesn't.
Yeah.
It's very unlikely to probably be the 1-pointer. He's a threat from set plays. It's 4.5.
Out of the 4.5s just for game week 1, who do you think has the highest probability of a clean sheet?
Tottenham.
Well, to be honest, yeah, I think with what you're going for early on, if you think you're just going to use it game week 1, and then obviously if you do end up carrying on further, our fixtures aren't terrible. You probably just need to check your rotation is okay for game week 2 because you probably won't want to play him at City. But otherwise, if you had to play him in the fixtures between 3 and 7, I don't think it's terrible. So I think, it's not like Tottenham bias. I think the statistics would say he probably would be Mickey van der Ven.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think I probably am going to stick with it. Again, I look at their opening 9 and I'm like, if he, for whatever reason, he's first on my bench and I need someone to come in, I just quite like their fixtures for the opening few. And yeah, I probably will be wildcarding anyway. But yeah, I just like it as a bit of something different.
All right. Marmoush could be great, but
could be.
You know,
could also be a disaster. Well. Yeah, that's me. I
do like the fact that you got on Palmer and Saka. Very few are doing that. And look, from Saka's price point, you're talking about the first 6, you've got some difficult fixtures in there. Most people will have gone to Bruno Fernandes in that position or something like a little bit cheaper. But you've gone all out with Saka. And look, at the end of the day, if you can't support your own team and get players from your own team, then what are you doing, right? Like if we go back through correspondent week, all of the correspondents, you can tell, have an inkling and desire to get one of their players into their team. It's just natural,
Really?
right?
Did you listen to the 20 podcast?
Yeah, absolutely. You look at like, if you're looking at Lewis trying to get Harry Wilson into his team, or like Tom Med looking at which Brentford he's going to get, they all, it's that inner desire that you want the player from your team to do well and have them in your team. When you've got a star man like, or star boy like Saka, I can see the desire for you to want to get him in, and not many have with the fixtures. So that could be a good
as well though. The fact that you've got both of them, if you are like, oh shit, I need to get Salah quick, then it's Salah and Rutter. Exactly. Where actually, like for me, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Happy with Wood.
Again, like I think I would like João Pedro, but
why is such laughing? That's so immature, mate.
I would like João Pedro, but I don't think Delap's not going to contribute at all.
What prices were 7?
They're both 7.5, him and Pedro.
I'd even get Mateta over Woods, to be honest with you.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, just don't change all of his team.
I mean, to be honest, I'm looking at that. We don't have that. I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 players the same out of 15, which is crazy low. Or most of the teams I've seen on Twitter, usually it's like 8, 9, 10 at least overlap. So we've only got 4. So
yeah, same. I've only got 4 years. You know why that is, don't you? It's because Suj sits here more often with me, so obviously copies more than
exactly.
Of
course. Yeah. But no, on the Woods versus Pedro, like I would definitely prefer Pedro if it was guaranteed he'd play the same amount of minutes. But I do think there will be like a significant chunk of maybe Delap coming on for 30, Pedro getting an early bath. And like, is there the odd game where Delap starts instead of Pedro? Possibly. And I think I'm a lot more cautious when it comes to stuff like that. Like I do prefer minutes is a currency that I value a lot in this game. So I think that's the way I start the game.
I've got concerns about his minutes.
Chris Wood?
Yeah.
Oh dear. Well, enlighten me.
No, I just think like we've seen Wood and Igor Jesus play quite a bit together in the friendlies. I think they are really starting to try and get their act together in terms of transfers now that they know they're going to be in Europa League. I think I'm now of a position, the way their pre-season's gone, that they might even buy another number 9.
Okay. To be fair, that isn't something I considered.
So again, look, across the first 3, I think it's probably absolutely fine. But I do think there's then a scenario where we go, because he's not the youngest, if he does badly in those first 3, that the situation changes after the international break. To be fair to him, he's the only Forest player that scored in pre-season, but he's only got 1.
That's the perfect
remarkable
exit point as well. I'm looking at if he does stink the gaff out the first 3, Arsenal away is probably, if I'm not wildcarding, that's when I'll just transfer him and move him on anyway.
Yeah, sure. Go on in, Suj.
We want to look at the draft that's had like 40,000 views on TikTok. Yeah. We want to look at the draft that's been saved by like hundreds of people on TikTok. Yeah,
do you know why it's so popular on TikTok, isn't it? Because TikTok's full of children, mate.
No, it is not. It's because there's a billion
like the colours or something.
There's a billion people in China, and they're all going to have my team. Let's go. If you want to go over to TikTok, why don't follow us? If you have TikTok, do you have TikTok? Are you on TikTok? What is it, Clayton? You're under the age of 40. Tell us.
I thought you were going to say 30. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not anymore.
I was, but then I remembered you're not.
I think it is. Have you got TikTok?
You got TikTok. You got TikTok. We've got TikTok, Planet FPL. So why don't you follow us over there? We've also got Instagram. So why don't you follow us over there? Nico doing his thing. If you said to me, Dubravka was fit for the weekend, I would be very relaxed about it. The fact that I've got this bench boost lined up with Dubravka in it, and I don't know if he's going to play, is a little bit annoying. It's kind of like, I feel like you get a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle out of the cupboard, right? And you get all the pieces out and you start building it, and you've built that entire jigsaw, and then you get to the end and like someone's lost the last fucking 3 pieces of the jigsaw and you can't do it. If I had 500,000 to fix Dubravka, and I'd probably go Perry, to be fair, because it's a 1-week punt on a bench boost, I would feel 100% comfortable with my team, but I don't. because of that Dubravka bench boost. And really, what am I missing out on? Maybe 2 points if it's just appearance, maybe 6 if it's a clean sheet. I don't know. Sales in goal. I've got a back 4 lined up at Gabriel, Van Dijk, 8 Nori, Pedro Porro. 8 Nori, I feel like is as much for his attacking return as his defensive return. I think I'm hoping we've got a João Cancelo Mark II here, where he's just constantly bombing forward and delivering attacking returns. And I also think City are going to come out of the blocks fast this season, just because they know how tough the competition is and what happened last year. So very, very big at the back. Diouf's there, obviously, on the bench as the 5th defender. Wirtz, captain this week. First home appearance under the lights, Friday night. Golden assist, the maximum bonus. Come on, Florian Wirtz. I feel like he can deliver.
Can I interrupt? Sorry.
Yeah.
This is why people do better listening to other podcasts. We got Salah playing at home on a Friday night, and you and I are both captain 2 different players from that football match.
Yeah.
Play your way, kids.
Yeah,
that's what we do.
They've also £14.5 million, Mo Salah, we should add, right? Cole Palmer, Bruno Fernandes is my midfield, just super reliable. I think Palmer's going to have the same again, copy-paste in terms of 200-something points. Bruno Fernandes, I think, will be the most consistent player in the game. João Pedro, Ollie Watkins, Jared Bowen up top. The one that I'm actually least keen around on that is Jared Bowen, the closer I get to it. But that is my West Ham, fan bias. That's my fan bias. But then I kind of checked myself. I was thinking about it in the shower this morning. He finished the end of the season really well under Potter. What was the other commonality at the end of last season?
Think about your FPL team in the shower.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking I need to record with you bastards in like 40 minutes.
So you were thinking of us in the shower.
I suppose it stops the threat.
That's also true. But the other thing at the back end of last season is Fulkrug had minutes at the back end of last season as well, right? So whilst Bowen was doing well, Fulkrug was getting more minutes, and all of a sudden he's fit and he's going to ready to start the season. So why would I not back them to continue to do well into this season? So I'm going to stick with it for now. Dubravka, Diouf, Dewsbury Hall, Anderson on the bench. I don't see any issues amongst the squad. It's fairly well spread. The only thing I think, James, you and I have this problem more than maybe Clayton, is like when you think about who are you fearful of not owning in the game right now? Who could really hurt me? And it's basically just one of the big 2 in Salah and Haaland. Because if a Forest defender does well, I've got Sells kind of covering me off. A Chelsea defensive, yes, but I don't see Chelsea defensive going crazy. And particularly, we didn't ask you, Clayton, but Cucurella with no Colwill, does that give you still the same confidence? A lot of people have bottled that because of the Colwill injury. So
I was close to putting Cucurella in last night. I'm
not fearful of it. He'll do fine. Like, we can't pick every player, but I'm not really overly fearful. And there are other midfielders that can do well. I've seen people now looking at Rinders and maybe even Cherky and stuff, but I can come back to all of that. So I'm pretty comfortable. If someone was to say to me, Dubravka's definitely going to play, then I'd be really comfortable. Even if he doesn't, I think I'm going to stick with as I am. Bench boost it. FPL.team gives my bench boost a predicted 12.2 points or something, which is fine. I'll take that. I'll take that 12.2 points. If I can get anything more than that, 14, I'll be super happy. And we keep moving. Free hit game week 2 is very dependent on what I see from Arsenal, Bournemouth and the likes in game week 1, and also the opponents that they have. Like, if I don't think that any of those teams are quite up to full speed, cooking on gas, or it's going to be as straightforward as, then I'm not really that bothered about pulling the free hit. You can do it in any given game week. As you said before, James, like, you're swapping 11 players for 11 players. So there's no gain here, really. It could be a downside. So free hit is fine.
I think I'll highly likely be doing free hit. So I looked at a draft for it at the start of the week, and I'd probably be changing all 15. So,
wow.
Yeah, I mean, if you get to the point where you're using it, you may as well look for every single last little bit of upside. When I look at my team for game week 2, it's all right. Like, I don't have any particular issues. So you're really looking for a big upside there, which you could have because there's no midweek stuff before teams are now like a little bit more bedded in. The season started. A team like Arsenal could go big. It's definitely on the cards, but whereas for you, it's like what 95%, James. I'd say 50% for me for game week 2 for a free hit. The rest of the chips will be when they'll be.
I wouldn't rush to activate it. What I'd say is I looked at a draft and I did for a free hit too, and I did get to the point where I was having to go Lacroix rather than Munoz as an example. But I think like rather than activating it and then Haaland, Saka, Gyökeres all got injured in the middle of the week, and I'd be like, I'm not doing that. So I wouldn't rush to activate it, I don't think. I certainly wouldn't be doing it like tonight or tomorrow, panicking about value. I'd at least let the weekend games go.
One question on the players that can hurt you, like you said. So none of us have the big two, Salah, Haaland.
Yeah,
I think we've obviously intentionally done that. We've kind of got plans to get them in when we do. What would have to happen for you to change your mind and think, no, I just have to bite the bullet and get them in?
Definitely not anything. I'm not going to do it until at least the international break, because you've set your team up this way for a reason, because I'm looking at least 3 or 4 weeks. So I think it would have to be a combination of, yes, they're going mental, most likely Haaland over Salah for me, because I like other Liverpool assets, whereas I'm not as excited by other Man City assets, and maybe an injury. So I was thinking to myself as well, like, let's say I want Haaland. If I tear this up today, start from scratch, and the first player on my team sheet is Erling Haaland, which of my strikers am I going to move out? And it's probably Bowen, and then reverse engineering the team from there. When you own Haaland, it does simplify your captaincy decisions a hell of a lot, though, doesn't it? Because more often than not, you're going to be sticking it on him. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, James? When you've got a Salah or a Haaland, so often you default to them just because of who they are.
Yeah, I would say
there are other players that can offer a lot from a captaincy point of view. So does it make you closed-minded?
Yeah, I think, look, captaincy first number of weeks, I think it's Salah this week. 2 will be Haaland or an Arsenal player, subject to maybe how we feel about Gyökeres and Saka. 3 is probably Bruno Fernandes, I think, personally. But, you know, Salah at home to Arsenal is still a game at Anfield. Salah 4, 5, then it's Haaland 6, 7, 8, then it's Palmer 9. That's how I see the captaincy. And I think it's Palmer also probably 11, 12, and then probably Saka or Gyökeres 10. That's how I see it in my mind. So if I took that route of Salah to Haaland, like, yeah, I'm just going to go with that regularly. I'm not taking it on. In terms of what would make me change my mind, Clayton, I think back to last season, I didn't start with either. I watched Haaland get 4 in 2, Salah get 3 attacking returns in the first 2, wild carded without both. Then watched Haaland get another hat-trick at West Ham and Salah get 2 at Old Trafford, and still didn't react to it. And then by game week 7, I was sitting at 5k, Clayton.
Yeah, you were
so
flying, weren't you?
I don't think if I take this route, if I was going to panic, I'd have panicked last season, right? I just like, it can't be worse than that.
Yeah,
so where I got
is,
lucky
though,
is obviously my
captaincies.
Of course they did.
You
but
have the other captaincies to hit. If those captaincies didn't hit, you would have pulled the trigger earlier.
Yeah, but it's like the old argument.
And you also then wouldn't have been at 5k.
Like not having him, say Mo this week, right? So it's like, I can't deal with the not having him this week. If he scores a couple, it's going to hurt. Yeah, of course. No one ever makes that argument the other way, though.
Yeah, it's true.
One day he probably won't return in game week 1. I don't think it'll be tonight, by the way. But what then if it goes the other way? What if Liverpool win 3-0 tonight and Gakpo scores twice and Salah doesn't?
That would make me laugh if he does go off tonight, which he is definitely capable of, and then people flock to get him for Newcastle and Arsenal. It's like, why didn't you just start with him?
Yeah.
So, and I think then for me, like, it's Haaland over Salah from 6. So what, I'm just going to go Salah for 4, 5 and panic, and then we've maybe got Isak integrating into the team at that point. If I take this route, Clay, so I think the only thing that would change it for me is if I had a situation where like Palmer and Fernandes got injured, hypothetically, then we've got like a real decision to make. But in terms of panicking to go there, I won't.
I've not been as engaged on the socials this summer. What's the general vibe? Are a lot of people going without Salah, Haaland? Are we in the minority?
Way more than I would have expected.
Okay.
But Salah's ownership is
Salah is still
huge.
Big. Yeah. And so, yeah, we'll all be waiting to see what happens today.
Haaland is not going to hurt that much. He's not. He's in like a fifth of teams.
Yeah.
That might be more next week with the free hitters and stuff like that, maybe. But then I feel like I'll have that one covered. So it's only Salah. Do I fear him? Yeah, of course. I know what he's capable of. But no, if I pick this structure and strategy that I'm going with, I can't believe that I'd go there considering I didn't last year.
Good. Cool. Listeners, look, it is deadline day, so we want to give you plenty of time to tinker with the teams and get this content listened to. So, we'll wrap up here, boys. We have the differential show coming out for you on Patreon later, where we'll predict the results. We've already kind of done the dead team differential team, but we'll give them a shout out in the 56. And then James, deadline stream later on today. What is it, 5:30?
Deadline stream 5:30. Team news stream for advanced tier patrons at 3:30 as well.
Lovely, jubbly. If you want to support the show, head over to patreon.com/Planet FPL. Thank you to all the new patrons that we have had over the past month, and those that have been trialing the content. Hope you've been enjoying it. Definitely a lot of value there in terms of James's fixture planning spreadsheet, Slack community, the additional content as mentioned, including the team news stream and a whole bunch of other stuff as well. Come and enjoy it. But most importantly, good luck. Say it, James. Hashtag.
Well,
play it your way. Go on.
I was just thinking we're going to let Clayton have a word here because it's awkward with three of us, isn't it? Any final words, Clayton?
You do your thing. Thank you, everyone. Smash the like, all of that good jazz.
All right, cool. Go on in, Suj, do it again.
Hashtag.
Hashtag play it your way,
there
everybody.
We go. Ciao for now.
Good luck. Cue music, please, man child.